discovery. We embrace the unwavering belief that with passion, determination, and a spirit of resilience, nothing is truly out of reach.
Hello, welcome everybody. Let me begin by asking you a question. How many of you have a smartphone? Yeah, silly question, right? And how many of you have been told that that phone that you have is bad for you, unhealthy, harmful? Yeah, not surprising, right? In fact, it's not surprising that that is why the Oxford 2024 word of the year was brain rot, right? Which refers to the supposed cognitive decline we experience from excessive consumption of trivial online content. Okay? Now, this notion of brain rot is not new. Thoreau actually used the term in 1854, bemoaning how society no longer valued complex thinking. Right? Sounds familiar? Right? And in fact, the term brain rot has been applied to just about every new media innovation, from comic books, talking pictures or movies, radio dramas, television, video games, rap, music. The concern has been the same. There's little to no value to this content, and worse yet, it's probably harming our kids. And now with the digital era, same concerns arise with the internet, smartphones, and of course, social media. So is there a reason for concern? Of course there is. But is there a reason for panic? No. A smartphone, like all media, is a tool. It's like a stick. You can use a stick to reach up into a tree and knock down fruit so that you can eat, or you can use that stick and poke someone's eye out. Right? The stick is just a stick. The question is, how are you using it? Smartphones are not going away. Social media is not going away. So the question we need to answer then is, how do we use smartphones in smart ways? Now, I've been studying the effect of media use on emotions for over 25 years, and overwhelmingly, the focus has been on negative emotions and harms. And of course, this is important. Right? We need to understand if the media that we're using is contributing to anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, disordered eating, aggressive behavior, and the like. Okay? But if we only focus on the ways in which media causes harm, then we don't learn about the ways in which it can offer us benefits. Right? And there are benefits. Let me ask you, how many of you have learned something useful or important by using your phone? How many of you? Right. And how many of you have found it easier to connect with people you care about through this device? Right? A lot of you. And maybe you've used your phone to relax or decompress, right? Or to be entertained and to laugh, or maybe you use your phone to explore some aspect of your identity or some interests of yours. So in fact, these outcomes, learning, social connection, exploring identity, relaxation, entertainment, these are all important contributors to our well-being as humans. And we can get those outcomes from media use through that device in your hand. But in order to do that, you have to be mindful of your media diet. Right? You have to be mindful of the media you consume in the way that you need to be mindful of the food that you eat. Imagine that you went to a grocery store. Okay? You knew nothing about nutrition. You're hungry. You have no plan. You're probably going to wander in there and just grab whatever looks good, and probably too much of it. And you're going to leave with a bunch of high-fat, high-sugar processed food, not very healthy. Right? But now imagine that you go to that grocery store and you're armed with knowledge, you're armed with nutritional information. You have a plan, you have your list, you know where to go to get what you want. Now, if you're anything like me, you will probably still leave with chocolate chip cookies, maybe some ice cream, but you're also going to come home with some fruit and vegetables and protein. Right? Now we're talking. Right? So the question then is, how do we do that with our media diet? In my research, I've been looking at how can we use media in ways that enhance our well-being, or can help reduce stress, for example. And we do this by looking at inspiring stories of people overcoming adversity. Like the story of a young man who survived cancer twice, and then he climbed Mount Everest. And now he leads other cancer survivors in that climb. Or the story of a woman who's a beautiful singer, and she lost her hearing, and she continues to sing. So what is it about these inspiring stories that are so important? They evoke the emotion of hope. And hope isn't just something that feels good. It does, that's great. But hope also motivates us to persist in the face of adversity. And when we keep trying, even and especially when things are challenging, right, then we're more able to reach those goals that perhaps might have seemed out of reach. They might be big goals like running a marathon or starting a business, or they might be small but also meaningful goals like finishing that homework assignment by tomorrow. So in my research, I've looked at what happens if we prescribe small doses of inspiring media to audiences. What would happen? So I'm going to describe one study to you, so bear with me. We've done a couple of these, but this is the most recent. We had 1,000 adults in the US across the country, and they participated in an online experiment. And we randomly assigned them to one of 5 groups. The first group, they were assigned to watch an inspiring video every day for 5 days, 5-minute video, like the cancer survivor who climbed Mount Everest. The second group, they got to watch comedy every day for 5 days, for 5 minutes, the kinds of segments you'd see in a late-night talk show. The third group, they meditated for 5 minutes using content from the Calm app. The fourth group, we just said, take out your phone and just scroll, do whatever you would do with your phone for 5 minutes. The fifth group was our no media control group. And now every day during that week, we asked people, how do you feel? We asked about their emotions. And the week before this intervention, as well as 10 days later, we asked about their stress level, their motivation to pursue their goals, their empathy levels, their satisfaction with their relationship with their friends and family. And I'm just going to share a couple of findings with you. Those who saw the inspirational videos during that week felt more hope during that week. And the hope that they felt during that week predicted lower stress and higher goal motivation 10 days later. We did not see that in the control group. The only other group, actually, where we saw something like it was the meditation group. And not only that, both of these groups reported higher empathy and greater satisfaction with their relationships with their friends and family 10 days later because of the hope they felt from watching this content. Now, I am not suggesting that these little inspirational videos is the cure-all, right? And that you should stop watching anything funny or anything else and just watch inspiring content all day. I'm not suggesting that. And I'm certainly not suggesting that there can't be harms by overconsumption of media and certainly harmful content. I'm sure many of you, if not all of you, are aware of the research that demonstrates that adolescents who use social media more often, it increases their likelihood of anxiety and depression. But that very same research shows that adolescents who are using social media are also higher in social well-being. Right? So it all comes back to that device in your hand is a tool. Tools are designed to extend the human body, to allow you to do things that you couldn't do otherwise, and to reach goals that maybe you might not have if you didn't have that tool. But in order for that to be effective, you have to use that tool wisely. Right? We have to be mindful media consumers. Mindless scrolling is not healthy in the same way that mindless eating is not healthy. Right? So moderation is key. We also have to think about what content we're consuming and how does it make us feel. There's an exercise you can try. Track your media use for one day. Whatever it is that you are watching or reading or consuming, track it. And how is it affecting you? Is it motivating you, de-stressing you, uplifting you, motivating you to pursue whatever goals that you have in your life? Or is it weighing you down? Is it discouraging you, making you feel more stressed, more guilt, and maybe distracting you from the things that you need or want to do in your life? At the end of the day, you're in control of that tool in your hand. If you use your smartphone mindfully, strategically, and with an appreciation for the ways in which it can benefit you, and with a healthy respect for the ways in which it could cause harm, then it will do what a tool is designed to do, to enhance, to extend, and to help you reach your potential. Thank you so much.